get you some. Oh, yeah. Mate, it's lucky she can cook. Wow. G'day lovelies, and welcome back to another Australian classic, the good old sponge cake. So back when I was a kid, this was the most popular cake. First thing we want to do is preheat our ovens to 180 degrees Celsius. We need two 20 centimetre springform tins. Now we want to get some baking paper, so what you do is just get some baking paper, sit your tin on it, trace around in a pencil, take it off and then just cut it out a little bit smaller than your trace line. Put a little bit of butter and stick it in the bottom. Then cut some strips with a little bit of butter, stick them around the outside. Our tins are ready to go. Now I will write the recipe below as always. So first thing we need is a couple of bowls and a sifter because we need to sift this twice. 2/3 of a cup of plain flour, 1/3 of a cup of corn flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now we want to sift that through and sift it again. And now we set that aside. Now we want to measure out 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar and get a spoon ready for that. Now into a medium bowl we want to crack 4 eggs. Now we want to get our electric mixer out and we want to beat them on between medium and high for 5 minutes. Okay, so I ended up beating it for 8 minutes, so set your timers for 8 minutes. Now what we want to do is we want to get our sugar and we want to add a couple of big spoonfuls at a time. And we want to beat it in really well and then add the next couple and keep going. Okay, now what we want to do is get our twice sifted flour, put that in there. And with a metal spoon, we just want to mix like this, up and down as you move it around. And we want to just keep doing that until all the flour's mixed in properly. Now we want to get our 2 tins. So back in the day, they would put a bit in and weigh them and that. I'm just going to go by hopes and prayers. Alright, so it's got to put that much in that one. And that much in that one. Put a bit more in that one. We're going to bang them in the oven. So because my oven's just little, I'm going to do one at a time. Now if you've only got 1 tin like I used to before, I used to make one up and then clean the tin, redo it and then make the second one up. It's a pain in the butt, but it's better than not being able to do it. And then when you can, grab yourself 2 tins because it's so much easier. Alright, so I'm going to stick the first one in. Alrighty, 18 minutes later in my plain electric oven. And the first one is ready. Now I'm just gonna, what I did and I forgot to say and I always do, is when you're using springform tins, put them on a tray. So if a little bit, tiniest bit leaks out, it doesn't burn the bottom of your oven and stink. Alright, second one's going in. Okay, so I'll just bring it in closer just to show you. So the way you can tell they're ready is first of all they shrink a bit and come away from the edge. And second of all, when you put your finger in, they bounce back and they don't leave a fingerprint. That's when they're ready. Alright, we need to get them out of there quick. Okay, so this is how I do it. So you grab a piece of baking paper, put it over the top. I'll put it over the top. I get a plate and I put it over it very gently like I'm pretty much holding it still. Alright, grab a tea towel because it's hot underneath. Probably should use a lot. If you've got plastic plates, use a plastic one because it's a lot lighter, obviously. Alright, quickly turn it over. Alright, even it up on our plate. Then we want to gently go around and ease the edge off it. Once we free around there properly, we can go in a bit further and then it will just pop off. Peel off our paper gently. Boom, our first sponge is done. So we set that aside to cool down. We want it completely cold and we do the exact same thing with the second one when it comes out. Oh my god, mate, yum! Now that our sponges are finally cold, we're going to do the filling. So we need 1 cup of thickened cream. Then with our electric beater, we want to beat it up until it's just gone nice and thick. Alright, once that's done, we'll just chuck it in the fridge for a minute until we need it. Now for the filling, you need 2 tablespoons of passion fruit. Now I love these little John West tins, they're brilliant. You have them in the cupboard for whenever you need them, so I'm using them today. But the thumb of rule is 1 passion fruit equals 1 tablespoon. So for the filling you'll need 2 passion fruit, and for the top you'll need 2 passion fruit. Into that bowl we want 1 cup of icing sugar, 1 teaspoon of butter or margarine, and we want 2 tablespoons of passion fruit pulp. Alright, now we want to mix them together. Once we've mixed them through, we want to start adding a little bit of icing sugar at a time until we turn it into a paste. Alright, so you'll slowly pretty much add roughly another cup. Once you've got it looking like this, which is not a paste, I'd call that a like a cake batter, I suppose. Once it's got like this, we're ready to rock and roll. So really stir it in until you can see all of the icing sugar has completely melted in there. So I'm going to put the slightly bigger sponge on the bottom so it's not as heavy on the cream. Get out your serving plate, put it over the top, tip her over. Gently take your paper off. Alright, get her in the middle. Okay, cream on top. If you want to do it really pretty for a special occasion, you can always put it in a piping bag and pipe around the edges so you can see it's pretty. Alright, just flatten it out to around the edges. I always like to leave a little bit so when the next cake goes on, it'll push it out that bit further. Once I've got it like that, I'll try and get it as even as I can. Then we want to pour 2 tablespoons. Alright, grab our second cake, gently take it off. Oh, they're so light and fluffy, it's amazing. Alright, put that one on. Yeah. Alright, and we get our icing and we ice the top. Just do half at a time. Now it's up to you if you want to put it all around the sides, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it pour around and let it drip over the edges because I love that. So I'm going to just pour it around right on the edge. And let it drip over. I don't know if you're going to be able to see from there. I'll try and put it down a bit. So what I'm going to do now is just let it drip for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go around and clean the bottom off and then bang it in the fridge for about half an hour to set. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I let it sit there for 10 minutes to drip, and then I got 2 big spatulas, or egg flips as you call them, and I slid them in both sides under the cake, and I lifted it up and I put it on a clean plate. I banged it in the fridge for 20 minutes, probably could use a little bit more, but I don't care. Alright, I'll cut it with the wrong knife. Oh, sponge cake. I haven't got one of those cake things, so I'm just going to use a wide knife. Oh, baby. Look at this beauty. Well, there you go, lovelies. Serve 6 to 8. You want to store it in the fridge. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves an awesome week. Give it a crack. You won't be disappointed. And I'll see you all next Monday. Toodles.